that is chapter 7 from the biology. The first chapter, I hope I have finished everything and I have given the notes what is behind of the textbook. If any doubts from that, please let me know. And we'll move to the next 7th chapter, that is cell, the fundamental unit of life. The word cell is originated from a Latin word which is known as compartment, and till this the beginning of 18th till the beginning of 19th century, no, almost the end of 19th century, we were not having much idea about what is this cell is, and people can't even imagine something smaller which we can't see. That was very difficult to see on those times. The breakthrough has happened in 1863 1870 by a person known as Antony von Leeuwenhoek. He is considered to be the first person to observe the living cell under the microscope. So what has happened is he has taken some sample of water and he has observed that sample under the microscope. He saw something is moving which was not even recorded in the pages of history or in the pages of science. So he has reported this to the Academy of Sciences in England, where Robert Hooke was a professor. And this letter, whatever it was written by the Antonin von Leeuwenhoek, was received by Robert Hooke, and the Robert Hooke started to study about this. Then the Robert Hooke, firstly what he did is he magnified his microscope, power of the microscope, by using different lenses. After magnifying the microscope, he took a cork cell which is used to close the wine bottles. He took that cork cells and observed under it, and he saw small honeybee like compartments under this, and he called it as cell. And after that, the story of the cell become like a hot news everywhere, and the people started to study about this cell. And now we know many things about the cell, how the cell functions, its structure, different types of cells, many things we know. So that time it was a very new thing. So what has happened is, then group of scientists came together and they gave a definition for a cell. The definition what they gave us: cell is the basic structural and the fundamental unit of life. They gave that definition. And after the discovery of the cell and discovery of this powerful mass, after updating the microscope, many new things are happened. Then three of the scientists came together and they proposed something known as cell theory. Cell theory means all the cell has to undergo these three set of rules. If they are not undergoing that, we can't call it as a cell. Schleiden, Schwann and Virchow. These are the three scientists: Matthias Schleiden, Schwann and Virchow, Rudolf Virchow. These are the three scientists that postulated this theory. And this cell theory states that all living organisms are composed of cell. That means every organisms are made up of cell. Cell is the fundamental unit of life, and all new cells originates from a pre-existing cell. That when new cell can form only from an existing cell, it can't form directly into this world. That is not possible. And after that, the scientists divided that cells are of two types. One is called as the unicellular and multicellular, and we have different shapes and sizes of cells are present, which is in the oval shape, rectangular shape, spindle shape. And now we know about the structure of RBC, which is biconcave in the structure. And the main thing is that we came to a conclusion that there are two types of cell are there. One is known as the prokaryotic cell and another one is known as the eukaryotic cell. Prokaryota, pro means ancient, karyota means nucleus, something related to the nucleus. So what they said is, we have two cells, and the scientists came to know that the nucleus is the control center of a cell. So they have divided cells into two, which is having a primitive nucleus, primitive type of nucleus, that means which don't have nucleus at all, and another one is known as the eukaryotic, which means new nucleus, that means they have a nucleus which is double layered. Very distinctly, when we observe under the microscope, we can see nucleus. So they divided this organism or cells into two, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. The prokaryotic organism, many of our bacteria, blue green algae, other things, they comes inside that. And the eukaryotic cells means where this animal cell and plant cells are coming. And we have to discuss about the difference between an prokaryotic and a eukaryotic cell. If you see here, this prokaryotic cell, the size of a cell will be generally small, very small, somewhere in nanometers, and the eukaryotic cell is very bigger than, that is 5 to 100 nanometers. And in prokaryotic cell, nucleus will is absent, and in eukaryotic cell, nucleus is present, and it contains a single chromosome, and it contains more than a chromosome, and nucleolus is absent and nucleolus is present. Membrane bound organelles like mitochondria and endoplasmic reticulums are absent in prokaryotes, and in eukaryotes all this membrane bound end up, and cell division, that means division of the cell will be taken by fission or budding, and here the cell division takes by two process known as mitotic or meiotic cell division. And inside this eukaryotic cell also there are two types of cells are there. One is of animal cell and another one is a plant cell. Animal cells means the cells which are present in us, because we are also coming under the eukaryota, and plant cells means the green structures which are autotrophs, naturally autotrophs, they produce their food by themselves. So they both are coming under eukaryotic cell, and these eukaryotic cells are all have two divisions are there. So I have given almost 8 to 10 definitions. So when I read it now, it will be difficult for you to understand what is that, because this is just for a differentiation. We have to study little bit in detail about small things. What is this nucleus, what is this plasma membrane, etc. So generally a plant cell is larger than an animal cell. Animal cells are small because animal cell comes only in micrometers, plant cell comes sometimes in meters, sorry, not meters, or plant cell comes in 50, 70 to 80 nanometers. So animal cell is smaller than that, and plant cells they have cell wall, and animal cells they don't have cell wall. And plant cells have chloroplast, which is responsible to do the photosynthesis. Animal cells are not. And plant cells are big vacuoles means empty spaces, are permanent empty spaces are there. But in animal cell, this permanent empty spaces, either it will be small and temporary, or an absent at all. And in a plant cell, nucleus can be seen to the periphery, either to one end, but in the animal cell, nucleus can be exactly seen to the middle. And lysosome, it is a cell organelle we don't have in, rare in plant cell, but in animal cells they are plenty. And plant cells they produce food material through the process of photosynthesis, so they will be stored as starch. And an animal cell, the storage will be in the form of glycogen, which can be used for the other time. These are the main difference between plant cell, and we will go through this in detail little bit, not in much detail, but what are they. So these are the main difference between this prokaryotic, eukaryotic, plant cell, animal cell. So please go through this, and if you find any difficulties, let me know. Thank you.